Some afternoons, the giver sent him away without training. Jonas knew, on the days when he arrived, to find the giver hunched over, rocking his body slightly back and forth, his face pale, that he would be sent away. "Go," the giver would tell him tensely. "I'm in pain today. Come back tomorrow." On those days, worried and disappointed, Jonas would walk alone beside the river. The paths were empty of people except for the few delivery crews and landscape workers here and there. Small children were all at the child care center after school, and the older ones busy with volunteer hours or training. By himself, he tested his own developing memory. He watched the landscape for the glimpses of green that he knew was embedded in the shrubbery. When it came flickering into his consciousness, he focused on it, keeping it there, darkening it, holding it in his vision as long as possible until his head hurt and he let it fade away. He stared at the flat, colorless sky, bringing blue from it, and he remembered sunshine until finally, for an instant, he could feel warmth. He stood at the foot of the bridge that spanned the river, the bridge that citizens were allowed to cross only on official business. Jonas had crossed it on school trips, visiting the outlying communities, and he knew that the land beyond the bridge was much the same. Flat and well-ordered, with fields for agriculture. The other communities he had seen on visits were essentially the same as his own. The only differences were slightly altered styles of dwellings, slightly different schedules in the schools. He wondered what lay in the far distance where he had never gone. The land didn't end beyond those nearby communities. Were there hills elsewhere? Were there vast wind-torn areas like the places he had seen in his memory? The place where the elephant died? "Giver," he asked one afternoon following the day when he had been sent away, "what causes you pain?" When the giver was silent, Jonas continued, "The chief elder told me at the beginning that the receiving of memory causes terrible pain, and you described for me that the failure of the last new receiver released painful memories to the community. But I haven't suffered, Giver. Not really," Jonas smiled. "Oh, I remember the sunburn you gave me on my very first day, but that wasn't so terrible. What is it that makes you suffer so much? If you gave some of it to me, maybe your pain would be less." The giver nodded. "Lie down," he said. "It's time, I suppose. I can't shield you forever. You'll have to take it all on eventually." "Let me think," he went on. When Jonas was on the bed, waiting, a little fearful. "All right," the giver said after a moment. "I've decided. We'll start with something familiar. Let's go, once again, to a hill and a sled." He placed his hands on Jonas's back.